My name is Tyson McGuffin, and I am with my man K-Mac here. We're doing another Boiler Room breakdown, and this match is the men's final with the Spaniard and I, that Spanish sweet ass of his. They're in LA, and we're playing the Johns boys. Let's take a look. Looks like they're talking some strategy. Suckers. Okay, we got Colin serving here. Got ourselves a fun little dinking point. Little reset action. Oh, come on, T. Be better. Okay, we're gonna
get it done. Get it done, Tyson.
We're gonna rewind this. So Colin's serving to me here. I think the plan early on was kind of put the return on CJ, even though we know these guys are always going to get up and established. Seems like CJ's drop is, it's a little liftier, it's a little loftier, so we can do a bit more with it. He does a good job with getting his fifth down. And you'll see in this match, Jame really likes to kind of run around, use the inside out, or use the forehand.
I like that choice of him going middle there. I think against the Johns brothers once in a while to get them out of their patterns, you got to pressure dink to the middle occasionally.
Yep, seems like that's how Dylan and J-Dub I've gotten the job done a couple times. Got herself a little hand battle there. And K-Mac, what am I doing with my weight there? For gosh sakes.
Yeah, you gotta lean in and take violence.
Right?
But,
Come on, meet violence head to head, right?
So Tyson, I think, so you initially pulled, you had a liftier dink off the bounce. Yep. Looked like you pulled cross court against CJ there. You want to talk to the viewers about kind of what's going through your mind and what spot you're maybe trying to hit on him?
Yeah, so Ben is out of position there. Looks like Ben is sliding back in and lurking middle, so I'm definitely not going to go middle with it. But I'm looking to kind of pinpoint, let's see here, looking to kind of pinpoint the right hip. He does a good job of sliding.
Yep.
I end up kind of popping this ball up. I probably should have blocked there. Ball came back in a hurry. I then try to block. Weight's going back. Ben obviously finds a good spot there. He kind of finds that right hip area, and I ended up missing that block in the net. Next point here. Obviously, we have Ben on the left, Colin on the right. Take the return to Benny this time. Pull. And hammer. Take a little slice of that pie, CJ. Okay, let's run that back real quick here.
Showing kind of why Jame is so dangerous over there on the left, creating a little bit of offense.
So Benny drops cross, and this ball right here. Not to downgrade the Johns at all, but I think something that's been just a little suspect this year is CJ is kind of, he's just not putting a whole lot on the dinks. And K-Mac, as we know, there's a lot more offense off the bounce now. CJ kind of lifts this dink middle. Jame decides to pull off of it. Okay, pulls again, sits there. Come on.
Relentless pressure, but like you said, it really started with that first pull with the forehand. I think that's one of those where it's just totally based on matchups. I mean, if you guys felt like you could outgrind them and just had a big advantage just making balls at the kitchen line, maybe he dinks that first one, but knowing that you're playing the Johns brothers, any ball that sits up, you're looking to add pressure and not play their game, and just, it didn't take one to put it away, but that's kind of what gave him the advantage, and he just kept relentlessly firing.
Right, and Ben hits a decent counter here, even though he's kind of leaning left, but still gets plenty on the forehand. Leans left, gets plenty on the forehand. Jame with that little tip down counter right in front of him.
Yeah, it's a really common shot we're seeing more often from two-handed players is rather than fully reset when the tip is down, you kind of push forward and just keep it low. You're not going to get a lot of pace on it, but it allows you to absorb good counterattacks, keep the point going, and wait for a ball that you can hit down on.
And I feel like that's kind of like that next level counter. It's more like 40-50%. Maybe Jame's kind of losing the point a little bit with Ben getting the first counter down. Jame tries to neutralize, but ends up, kind of getting it down on Colin. Colin ends up hitting a block from here. Take a look. There. Jame pulls. Liftier block. Jame cocks and loads. I love this little speed up from Jame. Goes right hip, sits, gets a sitter, and straight through him.
Yeah, and it may have looked to the untrained eye that he's just hitting the same spot over and over again. Even though CJ's playing backhands, he's making him sometimes use one, sometimes reach for two. So even though he's going to fade and be a backhand kind of day, you can still hit some different spots and force CJ to show some variety in the counters, which you're going to need him to do if you want to win the match.
See a little close up here, but yeah, he's moving the spots around and then just puts a freaking hole through him on the last one. All right, so got ourselves a little cheapy there. Something that I feel like I'm dealing with more. If I'm playing mixed and I'm playing the left, is most people when I'm on the right and I'm returning, they kind of serve forehand, just to kind of open up space or try to go like short angle forehand to really pull me out. That would we can kind of drive, drive inside out or just drive open court. But I serve to the forehand. Got herself a little cheapy there. Don't always get cheapies from Ben, but something that I've used in singles as well is kind of serve to the forehand. It seems like that side tends to spray a little bit. Okay, and sorry about that. I know CJ obviously doesn't like tape jobs, but something that is a reoccurring thing, and I think the Johns know this, is when people are playing the Johns, they usually serve out wide. Honestly, kind of similar to how you would be serving if you were serving on the right and you're pulling that person out wide. But especially CJ, he maybe just a touch slower coming in, and he doesn't put a whole lot on the return, just kind of bunts it. I purposely run around this. This is probably Jame's ball. It's on my inside foot. Maybe not though. I'm serving on the left. I kind of stay put right there, thinking like the return is going to come back middle. Bang a third. Got herself a little cheapy there. But something that I feel like is used a lot against the Johns, or if you're playing like a Matt right and Matt's on the return, Matt's on the left and he's returning and he's coming over to the right side. If you have a returner that's just a touch slower or doesn't get a whole lot on it and they're unwinding, great time to drive open court there.
Well, I think especially too, like if you feel that the team you're playing has an advantage over you at the kitchen line and they want to get into those points, then when they're transitioning, right, before they're fully established, especially if they're unwinding the stack, you want to up the frequency of banging that third just to make them feel a little bit more uncomfortable. It won't always work out, but you want to go into a match against the Johns brothers saying, I don't have to win over 50% of the kitchen rallies if I can get some cheap points here or there.
For sure. Okay, John and I are doing our thing. Up 2-1 here. Colin's already, complaining about the net there. Jame goes early, baby. Goes early. Pull the two. Okay. And honestly, something that Jame does freaking so well. And this was with the old Vulcan ball. The ball flies a little bit and it's a little easier to drive than it's a drop. But Jame can hit this like running topspin drop. Takes a good amount of feel. This little topspin drop sneaks in. He's in right away. Gets a ball that really isn't a lift. Pulls to the forehand. And takes that baby cross court for another point.
But yeah, like you said, by taking a little more risk on that drop trajectory, he doesn't just get to the line, but he gets to the line with a gain, gets to the line with a weaker dink, and then it gives him the ability to pull right away. If he makes a loopier third, and then a reset in transition, he probably gets to the line. But for the first couple of dinks, the Johns brothers are likely in control. So he might have to grind out some really high level dinking just to get a look for a ball that he could speed up. So again, sometimes it makes sense to take a little bit more risk and get out of that mindset of just getting to the kitchen line, but get to the kitchen line on your own terms.
All right, serve wide. Same play here. Oh, maybe keep Benny honest. Playing some D. Okay, and I probably should have kept it at CJ there on my third. I tried to keep Ben honest, thinking that maybe he was sliding middle. I end up kind of popping this up, scooting back, buying myself some time. Again, and K-Mac, tell me, should Jame be a sitting duck here, or should he, even though I did pop it up, is my fault. But
I mean, I liked him kind of holding his ground for some of the other volleys because you kept it kind of low to the net and you weren't quite as much in trouble. But the last shot, you played kind of a bailout backhand, just hoping to get a paddle on it. Even though I think it landed in the kitchen, but just had so much height on it. I think when you see that your partner is in a lot of trouble and you're in transition and they're at the baseline, you might as well sag back and see kind of what shot they hit. If they hit a great shot, you can always reposition. But to trust their drop when they're in a lot of trouble there is probably a little too aggressive, I would say.
Yeah, and something we say in camps, is you can defend if you have time, and nothing wrong with defending back behind the baseline in that little blue area. Okay, like that. Little bang and crash. Try to get a couple cheapies off the drive there.
Still working that up tempo.
Yeah. And John May, I'll tell you what, John May's drive is a freaking thump. Take a look at this, right? Little sitter, does a good job with the hip rotation, has a ton of paddle head speed. Not gonna lie too, that 6-0 paddle, great paddle, but very spinny and very soft, and honestly kind of plays like a Pro XR. And just like the pace that John May can get off that drive, I know my arm is definitely not that lively. I can hit the living crap out of it.
Yeah, and we're talking about, differences in Declan and Jean May, obviously two good options to have, but it does seem like Jean May's drive has a little bit more dip, a little bit more shape, which you could see, Ben having to go to kind of that slice backhand volley just because the ball was so low, gives you more confidence in completely getting forward, knowing that he can't hurt you with the first volley when it has that extra little dip of topspin at the end.
And K-Mac, for the viewers and listeners out there, obviously, if you see your partner's drive, get down and has that dip to it, their partner should be doing what?
Yeah, look to close in. Look to put your chest in front of the ball. Just know that really your opponents at that point really only have the option of just like resetting and just basically dinking. So you want to get all the way up and kind of take away that punch volley option and look for the old classic shake and bake.
Okay.
Moving the ball around a lot here.
Maybe pulled a little too early. Weight was going back. Didn't have a sly.
Yep.
All right, let's run through.
A little ambitious there. I agree. It's a big step back on that.
John May hits that little running drop. That thing is sexy. I'll tell you what. A little running drop. Beautiful block here. That little like behind the armpit block. AJ kind of has that same block. Get moving the ball around a little bit.
Forces Ben to lift a little bit there.
Yeah, and in this particular match, honestly, it was more like 70-30. Dink 70% to Ben. I know you like to use the term, on ball. So we kind of made Ben the on ball guy, and I think why the Johns, things are looking a little different this year. Maybe they're not as successful, is because for the longest time everybody just kind of dinked to Colin and made Colin the on ball guy, and we're kind of afraid to dink to Ben. And now we're starting to see teams, just put a lot more dinks over there, speed back behind Ben, use that lob cross court, but just kind of keep Benny honest, and it seems like. When CJ isn't in a rhythm, his hands aren't as precise, like the hands aren't as clubby, and you can just kind of get some more unforced errors there.
No, for sure. It's hard for Ben to take as much court too when he's always having to deal with a dink behind him or a potential tack behind him or the lob. So just that variety is probably the best answer I know to make that team feel pressure.
All right, got herself a little side out here. John May said he would never, ever again speed up off his back foot. That's what he told me.
I believe him. He's a changed man.
Okay. Oh, look at that. Little double earn. I'll tell you what, for a man that's 5'8", but packed downstairs, if you know what I mean, the man is long, right? Ernie, stay put, one more.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. He took off from pretty far there for being undersized. That's a great read.
CJ kind of drops his inside foot. There, sitter. That was nice.
Yeah, that's not just athleticism. You really have to time your jump there and trust your hands to be somewhat soft mid-air. That's high level stuff.
Okay, deep return to CJ. tell me. Benny
Thought you had a pretty good look at that one.
Benny comes at me, speeds from a low location. I'm on it, and you know, kind of similar thing here. Weight's going back. Need to have my weight going forward. Dink back behind Ben.
Yes.
John May tries to use the Tui. You know, and yeah, obviously I need to counter better, but you know, maybe John May gets pulled out of position here. Maybe keeps it more in front of him. But you know, something we always say is if you're getting pulled out of position or maybe not winning that battle cross court, it's tough to really yank that thing back cross, maybe keep more inside foot or kind of keep it in front of you.